Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? In case you haven't heard it, there looks like some exciting news and a promise made by this man on your screen right now. That's right. The Sadr movement made some great achievements in the elections. It looks like they now control the parliament. And this man is making a commitment that's catching the buzz around the Dinar community. What am I talking about? Have you heard? There's big talk about the change in the exchange rate of the dinar. How big? Who knows? We're going to find out here shortly. Hey folks, just a quick reminder that back in 2008 and 9, a lot of people lost all of their retirement savings and their 401ks and IRAs because they did not own gold and silver. Yeah, that's right. Gold and silver protects you from a market crash. So do yourself a favor, protect your retirement by purchasing gold and silver. You can go to moneymetals.com, reach out to them, and they will help you set yourself up to protect you and your family from having to start all over from scratch. If you're a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and they will send along with your order a free half ounce of silver. So folks, do yourself a favor, head on over to moneymetals.com and protect you and your family from a market crash, as well as inflation. Some of you before thought you might not be able to afford gold and silver. If what we think happens to dinar happens, you're more than going to have enough to go ahead and buy gold and silver. It got me thinking about Kim Clement's prophecy saying, turn towards the Dow when it's at 22,000. Remember when there was a lot of talk about that when we were bouncing between 20 and 22,000 and everybody thought, oh, the dinar is going to change based on Kim Clement? Did you ever stop to think that he meant this go around? Because we know the market's going to crash. So maybe this is the time when it drops all the way down there to 2040 or 22,000 points that he was talking about then. Could it be? I don't know. But there is a lot of chitter-chatter happening once again about the dinar. For those of you looking for my address, there it is right here. And you know I have this alternative website where I can talk about things over there that I cannot talk about on YouTube. Come join me. So what are we talking about, Pimpy? Well, let's take a look. First of all, Academic congratulates the election winners. So the Prime Minister on Monday congratulated the winners in a tweet. He said, I congratulate the political forces that will form the next parliament, which we hope will be a council of work, building and supporting for the state. He said to all his brothers and sisters who won. Oh yeah. First of all, Sadr's already coming out swinging like he is Tyson Fury. That's what I'm talking about right there. Sadr, in his victory speech, it is the day of victory over militias. This man plans on cleaning house. The leader of the Sadr's movement, Sadr himself, delivered a speech on Monday declaring his bloc's lead for the early parliament elections that were held on Sunday. He said, praise be to God, as always, who cherished the reform with its largest bloc, neither Eastern nor Western. You gotta love it. The day of the people, the state, and the heroic security forces. A day in which the oppressed triumphed over the oppressors. The day of the determination, steadfastness, and victory over the militias. Come to a reform paper instead of sharing the cake and interest. Reform has achieved the largest bloc, noting that there is no place for corruption and the corrupt after today. It's almost word for word what Trump's speech sound like. The arms must be confined to the hand of the state, and the use of arms outside it is prohibited. Even those who claim resistance and those like it. It is time for the people to live in peace without militia. Sadr assured the embassies of foreign countries by saying all embassies welcome unless you interfere in Iraq affairs and form the government. Yikes. In other words, mind your business. He called on his supporters to celebrate without arms manifestations, saying, let the people's celebration of the largest bloc be without armed manifestations and without disturbing others. The Electoral Commission have published the preliminary results of the elections by publishing the names of the winners without specifying the seats for each bloc. According to the figures reported, news agency Sadr's people will control 73 of the 329 blocks, or seats, I should say. Progress will then lead. This is Halabasi's people, anyways. Halabasi is controlling 38. Man, the fact that Sadr has 73, that's huge. That is definitely, let's see here, almost twice as many as the second. Then you got Maliki and his people controlling 37. But here's what everybody's talking about. Listen to this. On Monday, Sadr himself said they're going to work to improve and raise the level of the Iraqi Dinar to be in the ranks of global currencies gradually. Pimpy, didn't you say it might go up in increments? I did. I mean, as much as I want an RI or an RV, it was my thought that should do it in increments just to monitor to make sure it doesn't have a major effect and damage the economy. There's plenty of reason to believe that Iraq's currency can stand at a much stronger rate than currently is, only because of all the positive things. Now, they're not quite out of the woods yet. They need to continue to work on the private sector. That's important. But I did say in increments. Thank you. This is your day, people of Iraq, in which reform has won. It is a day of Iraq's determination and steadfastness. Praise be to the one who cherished reform with its largest Iraqi bloc, neither Eastern nor Western. And there is no place for corruption and corrupt people after today, noting that all embassies, we heard about it before, are welcome as long as they stay the hell out of Iraq's business. Sadr stressed that the arms are confined, we heard about that up above. It will not be for the government or the parties to control the money and wealth, but it is for the people threatening to displace corruption and the corrupt. Yes, all these sound like good words. The people's oil is for the people, and we will improve the dinar to be in the ranks of international currencies gradually and activate the role of the clans to support the stability of Iraq, calling for the confiscation of arms in hands of the state, even if it claims to represent the resistance. Let me repeat the most important part out here that I'm sure most of you want to hear. The people's oil is for the people, and we will improve the dinar to be in the ranks of international currency gradually. So Sadr is celebrating his victory, I am sure. Sadr is sounding like a what? A nationalist. What? A nationalist. Sticking up for his people. Sounds familiar. We had somebody similar to that doing that here in the United States. Yeah, the speech sounds a lot like 45's when he took office. He came out and told the people, today is your day. Today is your day. The days of the corruption are gone. Sound all familiar? Yeah. Guterres to the Iraq parties. Hurry up to form the government as soon as possible. So who do you think they're going to go after for prime minister? Let's hope it's Al-Qademi so he can continue to do what he's doing. The United Nations General Antonio Guterres urged today, Monday, all concerned parties to respect the timetables of the electoral process in Iraq. So let's get a crack-a-lack and not drag it out like before. The highest winners of the Iraqi election, the Sadr's bloc, is Shiite, Sunni Progress, and the Democrats is Kurdish. So there it is, the Sadr's movement grabbing big control of the parliamentary voting blocks. Let's see where it goes. The vote counting process is continuing, and the results of all governance will be announced at 6 in the evening. So they're still counting. You never know when China is going to fly in some votes. You just never know. So all in all, they had a 41% turnout, which is pretty decent considering. A lot of people usually won't turn out because of violence, and there wasn't any whatsoever. We talked about this yesterday, but the World Bank said the GDP growth in Iraq is 0.9% annually, which is a lot better than anticipated. But next year, I think it's going to go much higher. Said the World Bank announced on Monday that the gross domestic product in Iraq grew by 0.9% on an annual basis for the first half of 2021, expecting improvement debt to GDP ratio. Down here it says Iraq's GDP growth in the first half of 2021, which was 0.9% on an annual basis, and a non-oil economy grew by more than 21% in the first half. That's awesome. See, look at again, that means that less people or less Iraq is relying on the oil. So 21% growth in non-oil sector. Good. That's what we want to see. Pointed out that the prospects for Iraqi economy has improved with the recovery of the global oil market, and it was expecting the economy to gradually recover against the backdrop of the high oil prices and OPEC's production quotas that are scheduled to phase out gradually in 2022 as they try to force us away from oil. Anyways, here's a whole list of things that has to be done, and it just goes blah, blah, blah. But the point is the president is going to start announcing who it is that he wants, and it's up to Parliament to go ahead and start voting on him and decide who should help form the cabinet. This is where, like I said, this is where it gets sticky most of the time, and so we'll see from there. But again, this is big news. This is going to be spreading like wildfire. Sadr is saying, look, they're going to raise the level of the Iraqi dinar. Like I was saying, keep your fingers crossed. Let's hope for some good stuff, but we know it's definitely not going to happen on the 17th. That's for sure. All right, you guys, be happy. Celebrate. This looks good. We'll see how much of it is just talk versus action. This is going to turn out to be a good 2022. If you liked the video, and you should, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it, and I'll catch you later. I'm out.